As parents, we all want to give our kids the best tools for life, right? But what if one of the most common pieces of advice we give them is, well, incomplete? Today, we're going to go way beyond the simple cliches and talk about how to teach a skill that is an absolute game changer: wise judgment.
Welcome to another masterclass. Lordy here from Merchants of Wisdom.
I mean, you know the moment. Things are a little tense. Maybe there's a disagreement at school, and you look at your child and you pull out that classic piece of wisdom, the one you were probably taught too. It always comes from a good place, right? A desire for peace and kindness. And there it is. Don't judge. It just sounds so right, doesn't it? It feels so open-minded and good. We say it hoping our kids will learn to be accepting and that they won't become, critical or unfair to others. Okay, but here's the twist. What if that super well-meaning advice is actually preventing them from developing a skill they desperately need? What if, by telling them not to judge, we're accidentally leaving them unprepared for how complicated the world really is? Because here's the honest truth. You cannot live a single day without making judgments. It's impossible. We're doing it all the time. Who should I trust? Is this the right thing to do? Which path should I take? Every one of those decisions is an act of judgment. So the real issue isn't that we judge. The issue is how we do it. The goal can't be to stop judging. That's just not realistic. The goal has to be to learn how to judge wisely. The problem isn't the action, it's the method behind the action. And this, right here, is the key difference. Prejudice is deciding something before you even try to understand it. It's a snap reaction based on assumptions. True judgment, on the other hand, is a conclusion you come to after you've really taken the time to understand. One is a shortcut. The other is a thoughtful process. And when we tell our kids to avoid judgment altogether, we're risking them losing some really important things. I mean, without the ability to assess a situation, how can they ever have real clarity? And if you don't have clarity, how do you find your direction? And without direction, what do you stand for? So this is what we're aiming for. Let's be really clear. True judgment has absolutely nothing to do with ego or feeling like you're better than someone else. It's not about being critical. It's actually a humble, careful process. You observe what's really there, you work hard to understand it, and only then do you decide what's true. Okay, so this is the big question, right? That all sounds great, but how do we actually teach it? How do we take this idea and make it real for our kids, in our own families? Let's break it down into something we can actually do.
Here's a super simple but really powerful framework you could teach your child for any situation they face. Step 1, observe. What are just the facts? What is literally happening? Step 2, understand. Okay, why is it happening? What's the context? And then, and only then, step 3, decide. What's the wise conclusion here?
Now, this next part is maybe the most important thing to remember. You can teach your kids all the frameworks in the world, but they are going to learn this skill by watching you. It's your actions, not your lectures, that teach the real lesson.
So if your kids see you jumping to conclusions all the time, slapping labels on people after a 5-second interaction, or speaking like an expert on things you haven't really looked into, you're modeling prejudice. It's a quiet lesson, but a powerful one. But on the other hand, when they see you pause, when they see you listen carefully when someone else is talking, when they see you actually think for a second before you give your opinion and really try to get where someone is coming from, that is how you teach wise judgment. You're showing them how it's done. So let's get even more practical. Here is a simple exercise you can start doing together as a family, maybe around the dinner table or whenever a tricky situation pops up during the day. The first, most critical step is this one. Just pause. Before anyone rushes in with their immediate opinion or their hot take, just stop. That one little action creates the space for wisdom to show up, and it breaks that cycle of just reacting emotionally. After that pause, you ask this question together. What do we actually know for sure here? Not what we think happened, not what we're worried might happen, but what are the cold, hard facts that everyone can agree on? This is how you separate reality from the story. Now, this next question is a powerhouse. You ask, what are we assuming? Where are we filling in the blanks with our own ideas or past experiences? Just being brave enough to name your assumptions is a huge step toward real clarity. And then finally, after you have the facts and you've spotted the assumptions, you can ask this. So what is the truth here? Based on what we really know, what is the most honest conclusion we can draw? This grounds your decision in reality, not in guesswork. See what you're doing with this little method? You're not telling your kids to avoid judgment. You're training them in the art of it. You're treating it like any other skill, something that needs practice and focus to get good at, not some character flaw you have to hide. So let's end on this thought. Our goal isn't to raise kids who just float through life, never making a call on anything. The world has plenty of that. What the world is starving for, what it really needs, are people who can judge with wisdom. People who are clear thinking and compassionate, who can see what's true and then decide what's right. And that legacy, well, that starts with us.